Hello and welcome to this Price-A-Job tutorial. In this video, we'll take a look at the Walls and Foundation tool in Price-A-Job's new Takeoff module. In the previous tutorial, we took a look at how to add drawings to our workspace and set the scale. In this video, we'll take a closer look at one of the most useful tools in the tool panel here, the Walls and Foundation tool. Previously, we uploaded all of our drawings and set the scales for them. Once we were done, we locked each of the images so that they can no longer be moved about separately on the workspace. However, we can still click our middle mouse wheel to pan about on our workspace and scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. If we need to move any of our images, we can simply click the image, unlock, and then we can move this image about. We know that the image is unlocked by the green border that's represented around it. We'll keep these images locked for now. Let's add another drawing to our workspace. Pan over, add a drawing, and drop this here. And we'll zoom in on this one. And very quickly, we'll adjust our dimension scale here to match this dimension label. And we'll set this at 6,000 millimeters. Zoom out, reposition, scroll in, fine-tune our measure to be exactly in line with the dimension label. Reset our measures at 6,000 millimeters. And then we can go ahead and lock our image. And now that we've locked our image, we can no longer move it about on our workspace without panning the entire workspace about. However, we can adjust the opacity and zoom in and out. So let's use this drawing as an example. Here we're going to show you the new Wall tool. So if we click on the Wall tool, this opens up the Wall toolbar. And we have options here at the top for drawing a single wall, a multi-wall, and the difference between these would be a single wall drawn with just one panel, or a multi-wall. And with the multi-wall, we just click on each corner of the wall, and it keeps on drawing new wall sections behind us. And it will continue drawing new wall sections until I press the Escape button to finish the Wall tool. As we draw each wall, they're added here in the tool panel to our walls group. To delete these sections, I can select each wall separately and delete them one at a time, or I can just go to the Walls group and delete the entire group. Also in the toolbar, we can set the length of our wall. We can set the thickness, the height, the offset, the material type, and we have options for brick, block, concrete, wood, and air. And depending on which of these materials we choose, Price-A-Job will represent this with a different texture and color for each category. So for example, if we select a single wall in brick, we can compare that to a single wall in block, compared to a single wall in concrete, compared to a single wall in wood, compared to a single wall in air. So we'll go ahead and remove this group. We can also give our walls group a title, and we can assign this to a variety of categories, either foundations, external walls, internal walls, timber, block, stone, brick, concrete, lightweight, metal stud, partitions, retaining walls, cavity walls, glass walls, SIPs walls, or timber stud. If there's a section of wall that we don't see represented here, maybe instead of external walls, maybe we'd rather have it called exterior walls, that's not a problem. We can just simply input the title that we prefer, freeform here, exterior walls. And this will be automatically added. Now when we draw any new walls, they'll be automatically added to a new category called exterior walls. And by assigning our various walls to different groups, it makes it easier to track the various measures. Let's do a multi-wall. We'll set our thickness here for 300. And we'll just do a variety of walls here. And you can see that each of these walls, I'll press Escape to exit the Wall tool, each of these walls has been added to our exterior walls group. And here we can set this to show the area, length of our walls, height, and volume. And it shows us the breakdown of these for each wall as well as the total. We're showing an error here that's not a number because this first wall that I drew had a thickness of 0. So we'll go ahead and click on that and delete this wall. There. That clears our not a number error and allows us to tally the rest of our walls. From here, we can adjust the opacity of this entire wall group, or we can also change the group title. So in this case, we can move this to external walls, or brick walls, or freeform type, whatever we prefer. Exterior walls. We can also delete the entire group at once if we prefer. Another interesting function of drawing these walls, with the multi-tool, we simply click once to start our wall, drag across to where we want our wall to end, and if we just use our mouse, we're drawing a freeform wall. But if we want to be sure that our walls are all perfectly straight and perpendicular, we can hold our Shift button down, and it makes the wall snap to the nearest right angle. So with this, we can be sure that all of our walls will be exactly perpendicular and at square angles to one another. Notice also, as I'm drawing this wall, the previous corner is blank until I drop the next cursor point. And then as soon as we finish this wall, Price a Job automatically finishes that previous corner. Another interesting function that Price a Job automatically calculates, you'll notice here that if we look at the total length, that so far our walls are a total length of 20.9 meters. I'll just exit the wall tool for now. But if I take this section of wall and just move it slightly, you can see now that the corner that was filled in automatically gets refilled, and the total length is automatically adjusted to account for that half of a corner that was filled in. Likewise, now that our total length is 21.1 meters, if I move this down to intersect with a previous wall, the auto calculation automatically removes the intersection, because this center section where it's intersected will not be counted twice in the calculation. So let's go ahead and delete this group. And we've covered enough of the basics that we can actually start drawing some walls on our floor plan now. So to start with, let's select the wall tool. And because we have a complex wall here to draw, we will leave this set at multi-wall, and the length will be automatically calculated for us. As an exterior wall, the thickness is 300 millimeters. This item here will allow us to adjust the shape of our wall, and we'll come back to this in a few moments. We'll just leave this set at rectangle for now. For our height, the height of our walls will be 2.4 meters. We'll discuss the offset function shortly, and we'll choose a material type. In this case, the exterior walls are brick, and we'll assign this to a group. We'll call these external walls, and the opacity we can set at 100. Now let's position our floor plan centered, zoom in nice and tight, and now with our cursor, which is activated with the wall tool as a pencil, we can pinpoint our pencil to the outside corner of the wall and click on the outside corner. And then move our mouse to the next corner. And because this is freeform, we're not certain that this is going to be exactly straight. So we'll hold our Shift button down, and now our wall snaps automatically to the right angle. So now we can click on the next corner of the wall here, and then continue moving along. I'll keep my Shift button held down so that we're on a right angle still, and I'll mark out the next corner here. And now as we move up, we can see a blank corner behind us, but it will fill in automatically as soon as we finish this wall. So let's go up to the top. I'm still holding a Shift button, and we'll click here on this corner, and we see that the corner fills in here at the bottom. And then we'll go across the top and click on this corner. And then we can finish the wall down here by clicking that corner. And now to exit the tool, we'll press Escape. And now we have drawn 5 walls, and we can see that labeled here, 5 walls. And we can open our group, and we can set this to show the length, height, and volume of these walls. And it's broken down per wall. So we can see that wall number 1 has an area of 3.4 square meters and a length of 1.4 meters. In total, all of our walls come to 41 square meters with a length of 17 meters. If we'd like to adjust the opacity of our walls that we just drew, we'll be able to see the floor plan underneath, and we can compare our drawings to make sure that they're properly aligned. If we wish to retitle the group of our walls from external, we can simply click here in the title group and choose a new category. If when you're drawing your walls, you find that you use the inside corners instead of the outside, and your wall is misaligned, we can simply select on that wall and use the flip button here, and this will flip your wall to the outside edge. So rather than drawing our wall on the inside of the outer corners, it will draw our wall on the outside of the inner corners, and then flip that back if we need to. Now for our extension in this floor plan, we have an interior wall here to add as well. So for this, we'll close our external walls group here, and we'll select the Walls tool. And this time, for our interior wall, we'll assign this to a group. We'll call this Partitions. And we'll adjust the thickness of this wall to 150 millimeters. And we'll change our material type to block. And we won't require a multi-wall for this, it's just a single wall, so we'll just use single wall for that. And now we can pan our partition to center, zoom in close, and now we can choose the outer corner of our partition, click, drag down to the bottom end, and click again. And we can see on our floor plan that this partition is labeled as being 2000 millimeters. And if we'd like to double check our measurement, we can use our dimension tool here, and we can click here at the top, and then here at the bottom, and we can see that we have measured this at exactly 2000 millimeters. So our scale is excellent. And we'll escape to exit the dimension tool, and we'll adjust the opacity of our interior partition here, and we can see that the thickness seems to be off a little bit. So let's go ahead and click on a tool and double check our thickness. And here's the problem. I set the thickness at 150 millimeters. Let's go ahead and adjust that to 100 millimeters. There. Now that's properly sized for this wall. So even after you've drawn the walls, you can still make adjustments to them either manually by grabbing the handles and moving them about, or adjusting the measurements here directly within the toolbar. And while we're zoomed in this close, I can also see that we did not line this wall right to the end. So let's go ahead and click on this wall, and that activates the grab handles, and we'll just extend this wall to reach all the way to the bottom here. And that's a bit more accurate now. So let's go ahead and set the opacity for our partition back a little bit higher so we can see it more clearly. And we can actually set the visibility for our various groups here with this visibility icon. And this is a handy function. By toggling this back and forth, it helps you to locate quickly the various elements on your floor plan. Here with the external walls, you can also see more clearly exactly where the walls are that you've already drawn for this group. Next, let's take a look at using the Wall tool to draw foundations. So again, we'll select the Wall tool here. And for our foundation, we'll set our material type to concrete. And we'll set the height of our concrete slab at 1000 millimeters. And the thickness at 600 millimeters. Now, because our concrete slab is 600 millimeters thick, and our external walls are 300 millimeters thick, the foundation will be 300 millimeters wider than the wall, and will extend by 150 millimeters on either side of the wall, inside and out. So an easy way to draw this on our floor plan is to set an offset here of 150 millimeters. And now when we draw our foundation, it will automatically offset that amount to be properly aligned beneath our external walls. So now we can start drawing our foundation. And we can start at this corner here. And as you can see, as we draw the foundation wall, it is automatically offset by 150 millimeters on either side of the external wall. We can go over to the next corner and continue drawing our foundation outline following the external walls. And as we continue, the corners are being automatically filled in behind us. And here we can see that we've added 8 walls. My Wall tool is still active, so I'll press Escape to exit the Wall tool. We'll click the Foundations group, and we can see each of our foundation walls drawn here. We don't really require the area for our foundation, so we'll deselect area, but length and volume will be useful measurements for us, so we can calculate the foundation run and volume of concrete required. And again, if we've drawn some walls here that we don't require, we can either select an individual wall to delete that, or we can delete the entire group of walls here by deleting the group items. Another handy tool is setting the wall shape. So for example, this wall here may be gabled for the roof. So what we can do is select this wall, and then here we have the wall shape. So if this were a side wall, we would leave this set as rectangular. However, as the end wall, we would need to set this as gable to accommodate the roof peak. And what that does is it adds a second height measurement here for the peak of the roof. So the lower height here would be 2400 millimeters, and the roof peak would be 4000 millimeters. And when we input that, the area of this wall automatically increases to accommodate the peak of the roof. Here we can see if we adjust this back to rectangular, rather than being 13.3 meters squared, this would only be 10 meters squared. So we'll leave this set as a gable-shaped wall to accommodate the roof line. Next, we'll notice that if we adjust our opacity on these external walls, that we have a variety of windows and doors that need to be added as openings. So we'll set our opacity to a mid-layer so that we can see through. And then we have here tools for a window tool and a door tool. So let's select the window tool first, and as we hover over our walls, the tool automatically rotates and snaps to the wall. So all we need to do is place the window approximately where it belongs on the wall, and place our other window where it belongs on the wall, and then we can press Escape to exit the window tool. Now for this one, we can use the slider arrows here to adjust the width of this window. And if we need to adjust its position, we can use these center arrows to slide its position. Same thing for this one. We'll use the slider arrows to match the floor plan. And that's our windows placed. And we'll notice that if we take a look at our wall areas, that windows have been added to these walls. So the window is added in red, showing a negative cutout amount. So wall number 3, rather than having 1.6 square meters of area, will now be reduced by 0.78 square meters. Same thing for this wall. The total area of the wall will be reduced by this negative cutout amount for the window. So it's important, because of this, when you place your windows, that you select the window and make sure that in addition to your width, the height of the window is also accurate. So if we adjust the height of this window to 1500 millimeters, we'll see that our area adjusts accordingly. And there's the updated area. Same thing with this one. We'll go ahead and adjust the height to 800 millimeters and enter, and that adjusts our total area. Now we'll do the same thing for the doors. If we select our door tool, we can see here in the toolbar that we have a variety of types of doors that we can add. Either a door opening, a normal door, double doors, sliding doors, bifold doors, or a garage door. So in this example, we'll be requiring a bifold door. So let's go ahead and select the bifold door here. And then as we hover over our floor plan, the tool automatically snaps to our existing walls and rotates the door to fit appropriately. So we'll place this over the floor plan where the door belongs and click to place the door. But before it's completely finished, we'll need to click a second time so that we can position the door opening. So in this case, we'll click here. And then we can position a second door. And so here we will position this one here and adjust our opening. And now our door tool is still active, so we'll press Escape to exit the door tool. And now we can click on the doors that we've placed and adjust their width. Zoom in on that one so I can grab the handle. And so there's our doors placed. And if we take a look at our external walls, we can see that the doors have been added as a negative cutout amount, indicated in red as a negative number. And so this area is deducted from the total area of this wall. We still have one more door to add here for the internal partition. So let's select our door tool. And this time we just require a normal door. So we'll go ahead and place that on the partition. And then adjust our cursor so that the opening is in the correct direction. And then we can go ahead and exit our tool by pressing Escape. And now we can just zoom in on this so we can adjust the door positioning more properly. There. Now when we take a look at our partition, a door has been added to remove this amount of area from the total area. And that is how to use the Walls and Foundations, Windows, and Doors tools in the new Takeoff module. Thank you for using Price a Job.